What's up, party people? Sean here. As you can see, we are back in our lovely dorm. My fall break, not fall break, my Thanksgiving break is coming to a close, and kind of coping with all that right now. Exam week coming up, kind of cramming all that shit in. So it is what it is, though. Nothing like I'm not used to. Forgive me if I look chopped right now. I need to retwist expeditiously. Like it's been what almost 2 months. Yeah, broke life is getting to me, but we keep balling, we keep balling. But besides me having to stare at my breakage like dreads for the past 7 days, it's been a pretty decent Thanksgiving break. I can't complain too much. Had some family, excuse me. Had some family coming from out of town. Had a really great time with them. The new Stranger Things came out, and I'm gonna be so real. It's like I'm having to force myself to watch each episode. Anywho, enough of that fake woke BS. The topic for today's video is that there's so much more life to live. There's so much more life to live. Many of us might feel as if because we're not in the ideal state or the ideal situation in our current lives, that it's nothing really much to speak of, and that and it makes us hard to feel satisfied or to be content of where we're at in the present. Now, granted, there's obviously nothing wrong with looking ahead in the future, especially if you have goals and ambitions that you strive to accomplish. But I think the issue lies where we're so focused on the future, the win, and we're so consumed by the thoughts of that it makes us hard. It kind of makes it difficult for us to really soak in the beauties of where we're at currently. To expand on what I just said, I'd like to quote Andy Bernard from The Office. That quote being, "I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them." And that's pretty much one of the main points to this video, right? Being present enough to not take for granted where you're currently at in life. I also think that it's important we recognize our sense of immediate gratification when it arrives. And what I mean by that is that, again, oftentimes we want things in the now, that we're not patient enough to kind of let things happen organically. And then again, it's nothing wrong with wanting things, right? It's nothing wrong with having ambitions. Obviously, I have much ambition, but there's a beauty in seeing how things play out naturally or organically, and so that's kind of where I'm getting at. Being able to identify the beauty and the great things and the pleasant things within your world currently, so in the future you're not looking back on them, being like, dang, I wish I was more present. I didn't take this time for granted. I'll use myself as an example to further illustrate my point. But by no means would I say my life is perfect, right? And that's not to say that my life is shit, because it's far from that, and I'm blessed enough to recognize that it's not. But that's just a fact. My life isn't perfect. There's several things that I wish could be going for me right now. There's several things that I wish were different, but it is what it is. And so I say that to say, years down the line, whenever I reach post college graduation, my senior year of college, my junior year, hell, maybe even this time next year, my sophomore year, and I've accomplished many of the goals that I'm striving for. I've kind of made it to not again exactly where I want to be in life, but pretty close to where I want to be in life because of my hard work. I want to look back on my freshman year, where I'm at currently, and be like, damn, man, that was a fun time, and I'm glad that I was present enough to really absorb what I was experiencing and not take it for granted. I want to look back on this time and reflect on all the memories I've made, the people I met, the immature things I might have done with my friends, and just smile and reminisce about them, rather than looking back years from now and kind of regretting that I wasn't present enough because I was so focused on the future. I was so, just dwelling on things that in retrospect wouldn't even matter 5 years from now, because I was just so, fucking sad or whatever because of that. I don't want to regret, not being in the moment, essentially. I don't want to regret taking this era of my life for granted. That's all I'm saying, basically. With the abundance of social media and online content creation, I really do feel like it's never been easier for us as a whole to just compare ourselves to random people we don't even know that we see on the internet, who might be more successful than us, accomplishing more than we are, experiencing more than we are. And it's so easy, really, for any age range. It's so easy for us to just kind of be consumed by that, right? But the important thing is that we're able to recognize that it's social media, and a lot of this is fabricated for aesthetics or viewing or view purposes. And then two, right, just because we see somebody fucking let's say in Turks and Caicos or in the Bahamas every other month does not mean that we're any lower than them per se, for lack of better words, I guess. We should never measure the values of our lives based off the tiny portion of what we see in the other people's lives. So I guess to bring it all back home, um, it's important that we understand that our lives will never be the exact way we want them. Right? As unfortunate as that is, that's just how it is. Your life won't be perfect. My life won't be perfect. Because if it was, my life was perfect, I'd be fucking engaged to Zoe Kravitz on a lake house in the middle of Switzerland. But that's just not reality, right? And that's okay, right? Because it'll never be completely ideal, right? You always have these little nitpicks that you're battling, these little tough challenges that you're going through. But again, that's just life. So as important as it is to understand that, it's also just as important to recognize, like I said, the beauties, the pleasures, the great things that you already possess, that's already in your life. So that when it's all said and done, or when this chapter, the season is all said and done, you're able to look back on them and just, be grateful that it all happened. So stay present, stay grateful, express gratitude, and at the day, always remember that there's much more life to live.